Hello guys, my name is Matt from paintacademy.com and today I will show you how to paint a pale skin tone on the Cage Rager from the Warmachine. First of all, we need to spray the base layer, which is the easy part, so you just need to mix the paint and spray all over the skin parts, so yes, that's all. Add some water or the thinner to the paint and go to town. This is the mix of paint I used for the base layer, and for highlights I just took the white and I added some of the previous mix to it, and it's white enough to make the skin look very pale. And I sprayed the highlights from above, aiming at his traps and head. But you really want to create some of the zenithal highlighting, so think about the lighting on the model from the zenith point. It means you shouldn't go below the 90-degree angle with an airbrush, because it's place where shadow starts, and if you accidentally do it, it's no problem. You probably will be able to fix it with another step, but you shouldn't do it intentionally. But really it means that you spray the highlight from above, not from below. That's really all it is. Our guy is pale enough, so we need to create some shadow, and so I mixed the violet, the mahogany and a little bit of black. And also I used more thinner than in previous steps, because we want this paint to be a little bit translucent, and we are doing the opposite thing from the previous steps. So we are spraying from below and we shouldn't go above the 19 degrees. So think about bottom up instead of top down. I also decided to put some paint on his knees because I want his knees and elbows to be a little bit more red than rest of the model, and it will be a little bit easier to achieve the color difference on the darker base. And the airbrushing is done, and really you could just paint his mouth and his nails and the skin would be done, I guess, but we will need to do more because I'm ambitious and we will add more of the regular brush work to this mix, which the first step is just do the blacklining, and it's a little bit of more convenient to do it at the beginning. You could really do it whenever you want, but it's easier for me to see which parts will be black or which parts aren't the skin, so I try to paint them with very dark tone to distinguish them from everything else. So I painted his toenails, his fingernails and mouth, and the lines between his clothing and his skin to distinguish between them. Now it's the time to do the highlight with a regular brush, and in this case you should be really careful because doing less is more, and the airbrush work is very good and the skin tone look very good at this point, and you don't want to screw up with regular brush, so yeah, just be careful. And I'm doing a lot of small brush strokes, and I don't want to the color transmission be perfect, I mean very smooth, because you want to leave some of the brush strokes visible. It's because I want to make his skin and muscles look very lean, so the brush strokes should go along the muscle fibers and it make his muscle look very lean. You can make the middle of the muscle smooth, but the edges should be at the edges your brush strokes should be barely visible. So in this case we don't want to smooth out the edges of the muscle. I want to add one more detail to the skin, which is the red knee and red elbows. So I'm doing it by glazing already highlighted knee, and you should, in glazing you should think about two important details. First is you should use the very translucent paint, and second one, you should start the brush stroke at the highlighted part and end it in the part where are shadows. So you're just painting translucent paint over the highlighted parts and ending in the shadows. It's because the paint accumulates where you end your brush stroke, and it's therefore darker when you end your brush stroke. I also want to distinguish the particular muscles, so I just use the mahogany to paint the border between each muscle. And after that you just need to highlight the red knee and I want to start the highlighting with mix of the glazing color with white. It will be a little bit of pink, but that's fine. And after that I just use the plain white to do the focus points on the very bright points on the knee and on the muscle as well. The last step is to add even more shadows at the very bottom of the muscle, and it's very optional step, but I wanted to make it a lot of contrast between muscles, the red knee, and the parts where there are deep shadows. So yeah, after that I painted his mouth and his back, just to show you each step again, but it's really the same thing, just repeated. And that's really everything, and you can watch how the same technique works on his back. And I tried to paint only the right side to show you the difference between right side and the left side, and but it's really the same thing like on the knee, so you can watch it or you can just skip to the end and see how the finished model looks. And that's the finished skin, so you can see all the details on the model and everything on the skin is done, and I really don't want to do more of it. And I hope you get anything from this tutorial, and if you used some of that or all of that, please send me results. I will be very happy to see how you manage to pull it off on your own models. And if you have any questions, you can always reach me on Facebook, email, or on the YouTube in the comment section. And yeah, that's it. I hope you like it, and I see you in the next video. Cheers!